Hey Madison, welcome back for another great episode of MadTown Tonight. On tonight's show, we have CEO and founder of Zendesk, Mikkel Spain. We discuss his book Startup Land and how his company continues to grow right here in Madison. We also have Humans of UW-Madison founder Jenna Freeman, who will discuss her project a little bit further in detail. Then we head on up to Capitol Brewery with our man on the street, Spencer, for a nice, tasty, refreshing beer. And remember, Madison, if you got camel milk in your fridge, it'll never go bad and it'll never curdle. This is MadTown Tonight.
Hi, this is Spencer with MadTown Tonight. We are here at the Capitol Brewery in Middleton celebrating their second annual Stark Beer Fest. There's going to be 13 different vendors that have their own sour or different strong beers that are going to be available and on tap, and hopefully it's going to be a good time. Let's check it out.
They happen at the top, so they're the top fermenters, which is like part of the shape. So these are called lager tanks, because lager is German for storage. Okay. And then ale tanks, I usually call them silos, because that's how they look.
Yeah, definitely.
So tanks and silos. So these actually used to be old bulk tanks for milk.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we were the first craft brewery in the state, calling craft. Some people are like, Stevens Point was here forever, but they're a lot bigger than us. So it's kind of when we formed about 28 years ago, there wasn't a blueprint to follow.
Yeah.
So the person that started this, they're like, oh, we know how to make beer.
Yeah.
So they just kind of like ramped it up and they mixed and mashed pieces together to get what we have today.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome. So you just kind of like cycle through just like different lagers and ales throughout the season, throughout the year.
Yep, that's what our master brewer actually does. Most of her job is logistical.
Okay.
It's just like, because it takes like 2 to 4 weeks for ales.
Okay.
They happen at a higher temperature, 68 degrees. So the process happens quicker, kind of basic chemistry as far as like chemical reactions. Higher the heat, the faster it happens. And then the lagers, they take 6 to 8 weeks because they're done at 48 degrees.
Okay.
So it's colder, it takes longer.
Yeah. And then what sour beer do you have that you're doing today?
We have 2 strongs instead of a sour.
Okay.
We don't do a sour yet, but a lot of the people out here are going to have sours.
Yeah. Okay.
So we have 2 barrel-aged beers. One is E-Flame, which is a chocolate habanero stout. And if we get super busy, we have King George, which is our wheat heavy Scotch ale that we just released like a month ago.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I love Scotch ales.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, it's exciting.
Oh, awesome. I'm going to take some more shots, but
Absolutely, yeah.
Hi, this is Spencer, and we are here with Brian at Capital Brewery. He's going to tell us a little bit about the history of the Stark Beer Fest that happened here as well as over in Germany.
So Stark Beer Fest is a really big deal in Germany. It's the festival's much like Oktoberfest, except for in the springtime, and it celebrates the strong beers that are made in that time. So monks, they were the ones who started Doppelbocks, and Doppelbocks are really strong beers. During Lent, monks brewed these as they had to fast, they needed these beers in order to keep their calorie content up. So they were really big, heavy beers, but because of that, the alcohol also was increased. So the idea is they made these really big Doppelbocks, and they drank these for a long period of time, and it kind of turned into a celebration. Now is party to celebrate in season for these big beers. So it's a big, like I said, a big deal in Germany, and but nothing of that in the United States. So Oktoberfest has gotten really big here, and it's, springtime is really slow, and especially for beer festivals. So we thought, hey, if Oktoberfest is big, Stark Beer Fest could also be something that might grow as the opposite time of the year to celebrate bringing in spring. And Capital Brewery is known for its really strong beers. We make a great lineup of Doppelbocks, so we thought, hey, we should take this on ourselves. We also have a Bock Fest, so we do celebrate the Blonde Doppelbock a couple weeks before Stark Beer Fest, but this is really Beer Fest for everyone, in the community, all the different breweries to come to, not just us celebrating our beer. So it happens only a couple weeks after our festival, but it was an opportunity to include everybody in the community and have them all come and showcase their Doppelbocks. And we also included sours too for those who didn't want to make German lagers, who specialize in other stuff. So Strongs and Sours was the nickname of it, and it had a great success last year, and we're looking forward to another good one this year. So,
Awesome, sounds good. Thank you very much, Brian.
thank you.
Yep. Cool.
Basically, one of the monks, I believe Saint Bernardus, he traveled to see the Pope at the time to see if this was okay that they were drinking this really high alcohol beer. Is this okay with God?
Yeah.
So he traveled. They took this beer. It was a long trip, and they got to the Pope. And at that time, obviously, they're traveling by horse and carriage and whatnot. So they had to go all the way to Italy from Germany. And by the time they got there, it had been a couple months, and the beer was just awful and spoiled. So they gave the Pope some, and had someone just spit it out everywhere, and was like, "This is horrible. Anybody who can drink this has done their penance. You guys go back if you really want to drink this stuff, go for it." And they're like, "Well, I feel kind of insulted, but okay, let's do it." And they kept the tradition going. And so at that moment, that could have gotten rid of Doppelbocks.
Yeah.
But fortunately, the beer tasted horrible enough that the Pope approved of it, despite its high alcohol content. So.
All right. Awesome. Thanks, Pope.
Yeah. Exactly.
Awesome.
Hi, I'm Jenna Freeman. I am a senior here at UW-Madison, studying rehabilitation, psychology, and special education, and Jewish studies, and I love photography. Well, I'm from California, and I decided to do something different. I was really looking for a different experience because I don't take for granted the fact that I can go back to a warm place year-round. Some of my favorite things about Madison are the hidden gems. Obviously, those are things that happen when it's warm outside, but I really love, obviously, I love the Terrace. I really love Willie Street, and Monroe, especially Barrique's coffee shop is wonderful. And I love spending time around the Capitol. So like Collectivo coffee shop is a hot spot for me, and just anywhere around the Capitol, really. So I think that I like photography because it gives me an alternative way and lens to view the world. So I don't just walk outside and look right in front of me. It teaches me to look up and look down and notice different things about people. And it's really changed my perspective and the way that I think. And I'm hoping that through using more, visual and creative aspects of my life, that I can help others help change their perspectives and see and notice different things about the world. And I was kind of at a lull. I was like, everything that I'm doing is like cool and whatever, but I don't really feel inspired. I don't really feel like I'm doing something to benefit the community. I don't really feel like inspired or excited. Maybe because of the winter, but also I don't know. It was just kind of at a lull, and I had seen Humans of New York and really loved the idea of storytelling through photography, and I also really loved the idea of just hearing people's stories, not just people that are famous or usually in the spotlight, but just like the everyday person. Really interested in like street photography and like what goes on in general society. So I decided to start Humans of UW-Madison. Really, it was a personal project. It was just like, it started to make me happier to like talk to strangers, meet people, hear their stories, and I became really surprised at the amount people wanted to share and their willingness to share their lives. It was really fascinating, meeting some people that didn't really expect a stranger to come up to you, and it really tested my boundaries. So not specifically like it was all a selfish thing, but like it was really started for my own feelings, but like became something that I feel like could really improve the community. So I hope that's what's happening. I studied education and kind of realized like once I started, I've been taking pictures for a long time, but once I started doing it more and on a more consistent basis, I realized that that a lot of the things that I was learning were really connecting. Thinking about people's mental and physical health, learning about people's differences and how to celebrate them, how to teach people that different is not bad. Different is just different from somebody else. And I think art has the ability to show that because it's your own vision. So nobody can really come up to me and be like, I don't really like your photography, or the way you edited that movie, the way that you painted that picture, like I didn't really like that. Like obviously you can critique and criticize and constructively criticize, but it's your own vision and it's your own perspective. And so I think that is a really powerful thing for people. And I also think that it's a way for people who otherwise wouldn't be as vocal or don't feel as comfortable talking or telling their story, or maybe they don't have the ability to talk or tell their story. Art is a medium to do that, to be able to tell your story without verbalizing. Hard to pick a favorite, but one that was pretty impactful. I tell this story a lot, but I was in a cab in Madison. It was definitely in the winter because otherwise I would be walking places. And I started talking to the cab driver, and he kept saying all these things like, we are all human, and started telling me his story. And once it kind of came out, he was like, I'm from Syria. In the last year, like 10 of my family members have died. He just like listed all of these crazy things that have happened to him, and he goes, but at the end of the day, humanity is beautiful. We're all human. He just had this positive vibe that like I was shocked, because here I am like what's the worst thing going on in my life, that like it's cold outside. And it was really inspiring and helped me understand that like what I'm doing, which is essentially connecting with other people, is a really positive thing. And hope that like potentially our conversation struck up something in him that maybe, I don't know, I haven't he'll tell his wife or a family member or a friend, like, hey, I talked to this person and it really inspired me to blah, 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 blah. Like, I don't know, I just hope that something like that, and it really inspired me. So it's just kind of the connections that you make in the world that you don't realize can spark an idea or just make you smile, give you another perspective. So I think that Madison has inspired me. I think just the nature of being a capital city, I think that there brings along with it a nice feeling of community. Like, here we all are in this place that has a lot of influence on the rest of the state, and I don't know, right now the rest of the country. There's a lot going on here in Madison, and so it's really inspired me. The people, I mean, the people are so kind. It's been really inspiring to just meet different people and learn why they're here. And I think that though there are a lot of people that grew up here, a lot of people come here for different reasons. And learning about that has kind of inspired me and made me feel like I'm a part of something else and not just alone in the world. I have no idea what's next, but I hope that I can continue this perspective that I've gained by being here and by the experiences that I've had with humans of UW-Madison. I would love to do something that has to do with telling people stories. I don't know in what way, but definitely in some creative way. To get in contact with Humans of UW-Madison, you need to whip out your smartphone or your computer, and we are on a bunch of different social media networks. We are on Tumblr, we are on Instagram, we're on Twitter, we're on Facebook. And you can connect with us there, you can message us, you can email us, and continue to hashtag and post Humans of UW-Madison so that we can share your story also. The whole point is to get the community working together and connecting.
So, my name is Mikkel Svane. I am the CEO and one of the founders of Zendesk. Zendesk is a provider of customer service software. So we've been around for officially since 2007. We bootstrapped it for 2 years and then moved the company to San Francisco, where we have our headquarters and almost half our staff today. We are somewhere between 900 and 1,000 people totally in the organization today. We have something like 57,000 businesses around the world using our customer service software to provide great customer service to hundreds of millions of users around the world. And we help our customers being incredibly responsive, open, transparent, and empower them through the customer service experience to great benefit both for them and for their own customers. We worked out of my co-founder's Alex's kitchen in a loft, a very small place, but it was a very fun period, a very romantic period in many ways. You know, the intimacy of sitting like three guys on top of each other, working on this something that you didn't know what to be was a fantastic experience. But it's also been fantastic and a tremendous privilege to try to build a company way beyond that. So hiring our first people, moving the company to the US, getting investments, and not but least like getting all these customers and helping our customers change their businesses and transform their businesses, and also playing a role in the cities where we set our offices and try to be part of the community and ultimately focus our efforts on building great relationships, which is basically what we all want and that we try to do with our software. Almost, I think 3 years ago, we moved the headquarters of Zendesk in San Francisco to a neighborhood called the Tenderloin, and I think that was a very transformative experience for the company. We came to a neighborhood that is riddled with poverty and drug abuse and all kinds of issues, and realizing that we could actually play an active role in this community. We could be good neighbors for the community and empowering our staff to go out there and play a role themselves, and not only through kind of our company effort, but through the effort of the employees in the company, I think that opened our eyes to a different way to thinking about ourselves and what our mission is. Because it's not only about building software, it's really about understanding our customers and what really matters for them. And at the core of all of this, you have the relationships between everybody. You have, whether it's an organization and its customers or it's a company and its community, it's all about the relationships. So it's become very fundamental for us, and it's helped us tremendously also here in Madison, just make us feel much more welcome. We have built relationships in a way that we wouldn't have if we hadn't taken an active part in the community. It started a little bit as a coincidence. We hired a few people up here in Madison, and they turned out to be some really great guys, and we needed to hire a lot more people, and they had a good network to hire from. So suddenly we had 10 guys here before we realized it, and then we're all working out of somebody's flat. So we thought, okay, maybe we should make this into an actual team and set up an office. But at the same time, we were also thinking very much about like, where are the next satellites where we should set up teams, because San Francisco is a great city in many ways, but it's also a city where there's a lot of competition for talent, and where there's a lot of other structural issues in building up big teams. So building out a broader recruiting platform and having more offices where we could hire people from became part of how we thought about the future. And we looked at different offices, we looked at different cities around the US, but I think we kind of got a little crush here on Madison, and there are so many great things here, like from the mentality here to the great people that are here and the nightlife. No, but there's just so many things. And I also realized when we were in that process that my neighbors were from Madison, and I remember one day they told me, one day they would move back. So I thought, okay, this is a place where people want to live, and I think that's a great thing about a city. I recently released Startup Land, which is a book about the early days of building Zendesk, especially, and how it was like being three guys that didn't know that much about a market to suddenly taking this company public and building these fantastic teams, and so the book tells the story as it was, with all the struggles and all the uncertainties you have when you're building a startup, and I hope that can be an inspiration for other startups, and I hope also, especially for people who's outside of Silicon Valley, who's outside of the San Francisco ecosystem, it can be a little bit of a window into what it means to build a business there. Well, I think that maybe that was a very new thing when we started 5-6 years ago, but today I think we see a new generation of enterprise software companies where there's a lot more focus on the great user experience. I think that we as consumers are spoiled by the tools we have around us. Like, we use our phones, we use our tablets, we use our laptops, and they all have a great intuitive interface that makes it very easy for us to do very complicated stuff. So I think that building that intuitiveness and building that straightforwardness and that kind of zero learning curve experience to the world of business software is incredibly important, because nobody wants to put in friction to build a great company. And I think traditional complicated enterprise software introduces friction in how you build great companies. So we believe that by making software easier, better designed, more intuitive, we believe that ultimately we can help build better companies. First and foremost, I think it's important to remember that it's a big privilege to try to be an entrepreneur. It's a lot of work, and it's the thing is that you're probably going to fail at some point, but nevertheless, it's an incredibly incredibly rewarding experience. And so I think everybody who goes down that path, need to be humble about the experience and not focus on like getting rich quick or anything like that, but really focus on embracing the experience and learning from the experience and really enjoy the journey.
Thanks again for stopping by, Madison. That's our show. I'd like to thank our guests Jenna and Mikkel for taking time out to talk to us, as well as Capital Brewery for letting us spend the day there. Make sure you go and get a copy of Mikkel's book, Startup Land, as well as check out Humans of UW Madison on Facebook. And as always, Madison, we love you, and we can't wait to show you off. This has been MadTown Tonight.